When I heard Skype was shutting down, I saw an opportunity.
This is Denis, a self-taught developer who came across a golden opportunity, a tweet.
When I saw the tweet, I thought, why not me?
Right after seeing this tweet, he got to work. He built a prototype in a weekend and got his first paying customers almost immediately.
After I did this, I got my first sale in minutes.
In just 7 months, he went from nothing to a $14,000 per month app, and he's just getting started. I brought Denis onto the channel to break down exactly how he did this, and in this video, we'll dive into how he built his MVP in just one weekend, his exact Reddit launch strategy that got him sales in minutes, and his playbook on how you can do exactly the same thing if you build apps in proven markets. This story is amazing, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. I'm Pat Walls, and this is Starter Story. All right, Denis, welcome to the channel. Tell me about who you are, what you built, and what's your story.
Hello, my name is Denis. I built Yadaphone. It makes $14,000 a month. I launched it in March 2025, days after Microsoft announced that it was closing Skype. And in under 7 months, we've gone from 0 customers to 10,000 registered users.
Okay, 7 months to get to 14,000 MRR is insane. Can you share some more of the numbers behind this very fast growth?
So in the first month, when we just launched, Yadaphone made $4,000. 2 months 3, we've climbed to $10,800. And last month, so on the 6 months of the existence of Yadaphone, it made $13,300. In these 7 months, in total, we reached more than 10,000 registered users, 4,500 became paying individual customers, and as we also have a B2B segment, we have 20 enterprise clients. In September, Yadaphone users made in total 27,000 calls, and this statistic means that at any given moment in September, somebody was using my website to make a call.
Okay, let's dive into this very fast growing app here. It sounds like it's something similar to Skype, but can you explain to me what Yadaphone is and what type of customers use it?
Yadaphone lets people make and receive cheap international calls right in browser. International calls are generally very, very expensive. A 10-minute call could easily cost you between $50 and $100 depending on your country and provider. Yadaphone solves this problem by using the voice over IP technology. That means that you can call any mobile or landline number for cents. Our clients are travelers, expats, or just in general businesses that need to make a lot of calls. Yadaphone is a pay-as-you-go international calling service, and that really differs us from most of the other competitors out there because the others operate on a SaaS model. That means that if you are an individual customer, you need to buy a subscription that usually costs $30 a month or more, and if you're a business, you need to buy a seat or a subscription for each of the members of your organization. We allow businesses to just purchase a certain number of credits, and then all of the organization members of this business can just use this central balance to make calls. Whenever you run out of credits, you can just top them up, and that's it.
Okay, before we get into the idea and how you came up with it, I want to know a little bit more about your background. I understand you don't come from a crazy technical background. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I have no technical background whatsoever. I'm a trained diplomat, so I used to study for diplomatic work in Russia. Then I moved to Austria. I quickly understood that I wanted to work in a startup as a programmer, so I taught myself how to code in 2 months, mainly with books and courses. Then I actually started working at the company, and I realized that this is not a thing for me. I want to have my own startup instead of working at somebody else's company. I started to do freelancing to support myself. At any given moment, I was working on something on the side, and my first projects, they were ugly. They had no users. Then slowly with each of my projects, I learned one thing or the other. My design started to be better. My code started to be more reliable. With each of the projects, I just learned something new, and eventually it all piled up into this set of skills that ultimately let me build Yadaphone.
I love that you built a lot of projects and you built up a lot of skills that eventually led you to the right timing to build something that took off, which ended up being Yadaphone. Can you give me a little bit more details about how you found the idea for Yadaphone?
I travel a lot when it comes to government offices, banks, businesses, migration authorities. They are not on messenger apps. The only way to call them if you need something is physically making a call, and doing it abroad is freaking expensive. I've always been using Skype for that. I've been their loyal client, and then in March 2025, Microsoft announced that they were closing it down. Then I saw a tweet by Peter Levels saying that he and his friends were also using Skype, and he was quite pissed pissed that Microsoft was closing it down. He encouraged people publicly to build a Skype alternative. And I thought, why not me? Turns out I'm not the only person using Skype to make international calls, which I didn't know. And then I just built a quick prototype over the weekend. I launched it on Reddit and X and got my first sales in minutes, which never happened to me before in any of my previous projects.
Okay, I mean, that's amazing. You saw an idea on Twitter, you had built up all these skills from all these kind of previous projects, and you decided to build it. Can you go a little bit deeper on how you actually built this app?
When I first started building my side projects, I just used React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, regular stuff. Then Next.js came out, and it turns out that you can build stuff pretty quickly with it. So I used Next.js as a full-stack framework for my application. I used Cursor and LLMs, but it doesn't always look great. So I had to correct a lot of things and tweak stuff on the design side manually.
Okay, what I love about this story, Denis, is that you built this tool in just one weekend. You didn't spend months planning or overthinking the idea. You had already built the skills. Now it was time to just execute. You built a simple landing page and you just launched it. And this is proof that when you actually learn to build and ship, your life can change in just one weekend. And this is exactly what we do inside Starter Story Build. It's our program where you will learn how to build and launch your project using AI coding tools in just a couple weeks. The best part is that you don't even need to know how to code. You can just show up, follow our building framework, and finally ship that idea to the world. Our next AI Build Bootcamp is starting this week. So if you are ready to build, head to the first link in the description to claim your spot. All right, let's get back to the interview. Okay, so you mentioned that you launched this and you got users overnight. That's obviously not the case for a lot of people watching this. They've probably built stuff and that didn't happen. So tell me the exact things you did that made this app successful so quickly.
Back then, I didn't have any social media audience whatsoever. I used to have 60 followers on Twitter for years, but I knew how Reddit works. And the thing about Reddit is that you can get millions of impressions without having any followers at all. I launched products in it before, I got blocked a lot, but I knew how to write stuff up, which subs to target, which tone of voice to use. So I decided to launch primarily on Reddit. My first post was just screenshots of the core functionality of my app, which I think really made it stand out. It was a very simple and clean web dialer interface, and a couple of sentences about the product. I wrote to the subreddits for travelers because I thought that this is my main core audience. I got blocked there really fast, and it was quite demotivating. But before I got blocked, I had enough time for the users to see my post. The most crazy thing is that I got the first sales minutes after my first Reddit post. I've never seen anything like that before, and that was a clear sign that my idea was validated. Then I started posting regularly on subreddits for entrepreneurs. A very good thing about entrepreneur subreddits is that there you can first of all showcase your project, promote your project yourself, and you can also post links to your projects and you don't get blocked for this. In the first week, I got 150 users.
Okay, so that's amazing. You posted on Reddit, it got blocked, but you still got paying users. I'm curious, you had a bunch of apps that you built before. They clearly didn't have this sort of validation or traction. What do you think you did right or got right with Yadaphone?
I think the key thing about this idea is that it's not an idea at all. It's a validated market, which was first validated with the tweet by Peter levels I saw, and then by sales I got from my Reddit posts. And apart from that, it was a combination of a very good timing, because at the time Microsoft announced it was closing Skype down, people started looking for alternatives. And that created a lot of virality around all posts that were connected with this kind of big news event. And the third component is that I just had enough skills at that point that I could create something that looked good, solved a real problem, and people were willing to pay for it.
Okay, so that's amazing. Proven market, a little bit of timing, and you had set yourself up for success. I think that's a great recipe. That brings me to my next question. For anybody watching this, if you were to start over again, what would be your playbook to build a successful app like Yadaphone right now?
I would say that the first step is find a market where your competitors are dinosaurs. They are old-fashioned and slow-moving. Yadaphone is not the only app on the market that's offering international calling. I have competitors, and they've been on this market for 20, some cases for 30 years. But the thing is that those kind of companies are very slow to change and to adapt to changing market conditions. Those markets have validated demand, and you can get usability and design really fast, better than those old-fashioned competitors. Step 2, build your MVP really fast and start posting about it everywhere. On X, Reddit, LinkedIn, whatever social media you can find. Your MVP doesn't have to be perfect. Try to nail design and usability. Make sure that your core feature works well. In the case of Yadaphone, that was plainly making an outbound call from the app. And make sure you have a compelling story to tell. This is especially important for Reddit because people there are really fast to scroll and they will disregard stuff that's not interesting for them. My story was of a lone engineer that was standing up to take the place of a giant company. Step 3. When a big competitor leaves, they have a lot of articles still mentioning them. And that's a great chance to rank on keywords that you would otherwise never have a chance to rank for without a high domain authority website. People think you need to be a big established company to get mentioned in high authority blog posts and articles, but this is just not true. My process was like this, and it's really simple. I looked for the keywords that I wanted to rank on, like for example Skype alternative. Then I found the blog posts that were ranking there and tried to find the authors of those blog posts. Sometimes it was X, sometimes LinkedIn, sometimes email, but I just wrote directly to the authors asking whether they could mention Yadaphone. They either agreed to add my tool to their blog post or just replace Skype with Yadaphone altogether. And this felt crazy because Yadaphone replaced a giant well-established brand name that obviously draw a lot of traffic to my website. Step 4, keep iterating. I used to text every single paying customer for 6 months asking for feedback. I just said, hey, I'm Denis, the founder of Yadaphone. I would be thrilled to know what you think about the app and how your experience was so far. This is time consuming and you don't always have the energy as a founder for it, but this is immensely helpful because it helps you figure out what are your user segments and who your app is serving the best. And also it's catching the bad reviews early and you have the chance to react to bad experiences with your app before people go and give you bad reviews. Step 5. Create a B2B app as soon as possible. Enterprise has bigger checks and much lower churn. When I started with Yadaphone, I thought it would be a pure B2C app for travelers and expats to call abroad. I created my enterprise plan totally by accident. A guy texted me in the middle of the night asking if Yadaphone has a enterprise plan for his organization. I said, of course we do. And to tell you a secret, we didn't. I coded my enterprise plan in a panic mode through the night because the next morning I had to live demo it in front of this customer. By the way, he is still a Yadaphone customer paying around $1,000 for it each month. So yeah, that would be my playbook if I was starting today.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that was awesome. I'm going to switch topics a little bit and I want to learn about how you built this. What's your tech stack? What kind of tech are you using to build this software?
I use Cursor for coding and also sometimes for writing copy. Vercel for hosting my solution. I do my keyword research with Ahrefs and I use Stripe for payments. Also with AI, it's very easy to build your own custom solutions. I built my own system for handling support requests and admin panel with Cursor. I catch most support requests early so that I can regulate my workflow. I can be very efficient with support and can afford to stay solo founder thanks to it. My main cost is Twilio that is handling calls and I pay them around 35% of my monthly earnings.
Okay, thanks for sharing that, being transparent about the numbers. The last question that I have for you that we ask all founders who come on Starter Story, for anyone who's watching this that wants to start something like you, a B2C app, a SaaS, anything online, what would be your advice?
I would advise to do search engine optimization from day one, and you have to be very patient with it. I think SEO is pure magic to most developers because it doesn't come naturally to us. We're used to quick feedback loops. You change something in your code editor, seconds after you see the changes taking effect in your local host. With SEO, it's not the case. SEO changes take weeks, sometimes even months, but it pays off immensely. My competitors started ranking better for the keywords I targeted, even though I was first to the market. I looked at the SEO, chatted a lot with ChatGPT about it, and then it turns out it was a very small stupid detail. My sitemap didn't have a 3W prefix, and Google just ignored all the pages I wanted to rank. So you have to be very attentive to details with SEO.
Okay, thanks for coming on, Denis. I'm going to be checking my sitemap right after this and make sure I got that www in there. But dude, you built an awesome business. It's insane how fast this is growing. I hope a lot of people watching enjoyed this interview and got inspired. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Pat. I was glad to be here.
Okay, thank you to Denis for coming onto the channel. I think this is an amazing idea because this happened in just the last 7 months. And this is proof that building in proven markets is the way to build an app in 2025. And this is why we launched Starter Story Build, which is your opportunity to learn how to use AI coding tools to build and launch fast. So when that opportunity pops up, just like it did for Denis, you'll be ready to build. If you are ready to build and actually launch something, head to the first link in the description to check out Starter Story Build. All right, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.